Hey there, this is Sheena Rowlands designing for Scrap Academy with my Christmas party challenge. The first challenge is to use baubles on a layout, and I decided to use this cut file from Paige Taylor Evans, as you might as well go big or go home. I cut it twice. I cut it as it is and then I cut it again so that I could put back the baubles. So I found a picture of our Christmas tree from last year that I wanted to use with it. I thought that would be perfect, and with a pencil I'm just going to lightly mark the background pieces with where the decoration would need to be so that it can match up with the cut file on the front. It's only a faint pencil line, but it will just give me a little bit more of an idea when I come to actually fill the baubles themselves. I did this for all of the baubles, not just the one that you saw me do. So I decided I wanted to fill the baubles, so I bought myself some sequins in lots of different colours. Some of them are matte, some of them are shiny. And I'm going to use those to fill the baubles. So I'm just going to show you in detail one. So to back the actual sequins, I've used a little bit of ink in a colour similar to the sequins, so that the white of the background shape doesn't show through. I think then if there is any gaps between the sequins, and there will be obviously because they're round, you can't pack them in too tightly, you don't see the white so much. So I've picked two inks from the Distress Oxide range that go with the sequins that are on my cutting mat there, and I've covered that background in a little bit of ink. Next thing is I glued sequins onto it. I've used a wet glue. Now it does get messy and it is a little time consuming as I stuck the sequins down one at a time, but I can still see my pencil lines through the ink, so I know where I want to place these paler ones in the centre. So I'm left-handed, as you can see. In my left hand I've got a pair of tweezers, which I'm picking up the sequins, and I've got a pokey tool in my right hand, and that is just helping me place them in position. So just by pressing on the sequin with the pokey tool in my right hand helps me get them where I really want them to be. As I say, it's quite time consuming, so I've moved on a little bit. This is me sticking down the darker colour, and the shape is now filling up quite nicely. I've popped the glue there on a scrap piece of paper just so that I can keep dipping in and out of it. So this is the actual cut file. I'm checking it over the top, just marrying them up, see if I've missed any gaps. There is a couple there on the right. So I'm going to go back in with the sequins and the glue and fill any spaces that I noticed. Whilst I did that, I actually listened to some music and then an audio book, because it did take a little bit of time, but as it was going along I was quite pleased with the way it was looking. So I was happy to spend the time just sticking the sequins down. And there we are, marrying it up again, and I'm happier with the way that looks. So here we are, these are the baubles. I've done the other ones and I've added the cut file on top. I've used foam pads to do this, obviously because the sequins are raised and I wanted to give a look of depth anyway, so I'm adding little bits of foam onto the back of the cut file so then I can stick it to the sequins. As you can see, I've used lots of different colours for the other baubles. Our tree is not colour coordinated, and that's something I wanted to reflect in these decorations. Our tree is more of a memory tree, covering holidays, activities, decorations the children have made, decorations we've inherited. In fact, we love unpacking the decorations, putting them on the tree and reminiscing about people and places as we go. So I'm quite happy that you may think I've used random selection of colours. For me that's actually intentional. So I'm going to stick this cut file on top of the sequins once I've picked off the backs of the foam, and then I'll look at getting them into place. The paper on the background wasn't originally going to be the background paper, but the more I had the cut file on it, the more I liked it. And it's an old one, it's a My Mind's Eye Sugar Plum was the range that paper came from. I tend to keep all my Christmas papers together so I can have a rummage through, and different ranges tend to go together anyway because it's similar colours. So here we are, they're all stuck down on the background. Now I'm going to focus on the photograph. For this I've actually picked out another range. This is Oh Dear by Fancy Pants. I'd got a 6x6 pad and I'd got quite a lot of the die cuts, so I thought they might be useful. So I've cut some papers to go behind the photograph and distressed the edges. I like the phrase our tree, which is very much our tree, and now I'm looking for some little bits and pieces to go around it. So if I just get these stuck down, then I'll know what space I've got left to work with. Obviously the decorations are the star of the show, but I would like to write a little bit of something, giving us an idea in the future why I'd made this layout. So I'm now looking for some bits to go around it, seeing what might work. So I'm now looking at how to place the journaling on the right of my photograph. I think that journaling card's possibly a bit too pale, but I'm still sticking with it for the moment. I do like that holly up there. I think that's a nice bit of green, fills a little space. And I'm still looking at this card. Maybe not, let's have a look. Maybe some journaling strips will be the best thing. This paper from the 6x6 pad definitely is more similar to the background paper, which means it doesn't detract from everything else, but means that I can still add in what I'd like to say. So I'm just looking for some bits and pieces. Do I prefer that bow? I like that too, really, but maybe the holly would be the better. We'll see whether it makes it back. And it does. I'm very much like this when I scrap. I don't mind spending some time, having a good look, coming up with the final decisions. It's just the way I work. So I'm still having a look on the right. I've got lots of supplies by my side, looking at stickers. Goodness me, these are October afternoon by the looks of it. But as I say, in my Christmas box, so therefore all very similar colours. And that little tab says decoration, so I think that has to go on here somewhere. So I've stuck it to my trimmer there, thinking that I will go back to it when I can. I found some present stickers. Well, you always have presents at the bottom of a tree, don't you? So maybe they are a good base for the title. They don't really stretch either side because there's not much space to the left of my photograph because of so much space the cut file's taken up. So I think I'll leave them in a pile all together. So here's me just sticking down the final bits and pieces. I've added my journaling on strips and stuck them directly to the layout. Just sticking down the title word now. I think there's enough going on this page to keep your attention. I've added a few little stars around and about that they're acrylic that I'd like to, so it just adds a little bit more depth in places, and I'm going to add those with a bit of strong tape to stop them falling off in the page protector when this makes it into my album. Well, I hope this layout gives you some ideas of using baubles. We've got 4 challenges running throughout December, and we would love you to take part and to post your layouts on our Facebook group, as we love seeing everything that you make. So here's the finished layout still on my desk. Here it is after I've photographed it. Hopefully you can see all those sparkly sequins. I've got a few close-ups for you too. I really enjoyed making this. It may have taken quite a bit of time, but actually it wasn't hard work at all, and I would really recommend you using sequins to fill some baubles on your Christmas pages. So Merry Christmas to you, and I hope you take part in our challenges. Take care. Bye now.